Yo, what's going on YouTube? It's your boy Otaku having coming at you with a One Piece manga theory. Now, this could be very, very vital if it actually winds up happening this way. I want you to go back and think about Sanji. The whole time Sanji's been around, he's always said, I'll be the biggest problem for the world government. The world government will always have the biggest problem with me. Something along those lines every single time something bad happens. All right, even back in Thriller Bark, there's plenty of times where he said it. Now, they're the Straw Hats. They're very famous, notorious pirates with huge bounties. And generally, when you've occurred that much bounty or accumulated that much of a bounty, the world government will come after you. Now, even though Doflamingo had a huge bounty like that, he was a Shichibukai for a while, so um, that alongside of his world noble's previous status, then he was basically, you know, looked at as we're not going to go after him right now because he was working alongside of the world government. Plus, he actually at one point held a world government title. But even though that he's got all that going for him, he was basically still taken in after the things that happened at Dressrosa, which means there are certain circumstances that a world noble or a previous world noble or a Shichibukai could even be taken in. Someone with the vast connections to the world nobles can be taken in under certain stipulations. Now, why do they only want Sanji alive? And I don't think it's just because he's a world noble, he's a runaway prince, or anything like that. I mean, that's really a very real possibility, but let's think for a second. You have the hierarchy of people. You have the regular people, you have the pirates, you have the Shichibukai, and the Yonko, and the Gurosei, and the world nobles. Basically, from what we understand, the Gurosei are either world nobles or work under the world nobles. So, if the Gorosei are extremely high, think about the world nobles. Every group of people has to have a leader. There's somebody leading the world nobles. If that is the Gorosei, then that's all fine and dandy. That's five people ruling the world nobles. But think most people like that, they normally have a king and a kingdom, especially because that's a kingdom. So what if that king is looked at as sort of like a god compared to all the other world nobles? It would add a whole nother dimension to this hierarchy. And what if Sanji was the son of that person? And Sanji ran away sort of because he didn't like what was going on in the whole area and he wanted to find the all blue. And once he found the all blue, he met Zeph and whatever, when then we got to go on to where we're at now. Um, that would be a very vital key into why Sanji would be a huge problem for any of the world nobles, because technically they wouldn't be allowed to lay their hands on him in a bad manner, quote unquote, if he did have that much prestige, even prestige over that of a world noble, and they still want him because of all the bad things that he's supposedly done under the crew of Luffy, or under the Straw Hat flag, sorry. But if he's like the god under god, above the world nobles, that that'd be huge. Just thought I'd share that thought with you guys. That's all. Peace.